Hello everybody, today's video, I'm going to start document a process. I think I'm going to have to return these new MacNeils that I purchased in one of my latest videos, the unboxing video. I'll show you the problem. I think I'm going to have to return them. Hello everybody, it's Robert Powers.
4.5 out of 5.
My shoe collection. Some stains there. Got a nice lather. Here is the finished product.
I'm not a professional.
How tight this is though.
You can see it very clearly here. I just cut the thread.
So here it goes. Now that's a proper mirror shine.
They're both done. Doesn't it look awesome?
Hello everybody. Today I am actually coming to you guys here with a little bit of disappointment and a little bit of trepidation, okay? Because I have found what I think is a flaw big enough where I'm going to have to return these things, and I didn't notice it at first. So let me show you what's going on. First thing I noticed wearing them was I noticed a line of tan. And I was like, what is that line? And it caused me to look further. Let me see if I can get it here. Do you see what's happening? Right here? So it took me a little bit of time to figure out what's going on. I did notice on the video, unboxing video, that I did show you these threads. So those are the threads. If you notice, there is, it's easier to see over here. There's two threads holding on a sole on a Goodyear Welted shoe. A brown thread on the bottom, in this case, and then a black thread on the top. So what I believe, I'm not an expert, what I believe happens is when the outsole stitcher, the operator was putting the shoe on, the needle, right, was held, the shoe was not held at a flat enough angle, because if you see, you want to stay, I think, normal, 90 degrees, I believe. So as you run the shoe through the machine, I've watched like Steve from Beato's Leather Works, and he always tilts and moves the shoe. So I think what happened here, this is my opinion, not fact, is that thread almost came off the edge of the welt because he probably had the shoe at the wrong angle. And I think that's also what happened here on the inside. Now you can see, I didn't notice this at first. You see those black loops? That black, because if you watch my video, I'll link it below, resoling at home. Cobblers are professional for a reason. It's a fail video. I actually resoled a shoe at home and it's horrendously difficult, but that loop is this top side thread. That happens when the loop of thread, you know, in essence, is not pulled tight enough and it's outside the other side, okay? And now what that's causing is, can you see there, that's actually a significant gap. Let me get that on camera better. It's causing, right in here, a pretty significant gap. The sole is separating from the welt. And now if you look at it, can you see the line of stitching? Let me get something to point with here. Screwdriver will work. So you can see the line of stitching here. I'm gonna kind of trace it. The line of stitching actually went too far out. So I'm not sure if then they ground the side of the sole. I don't know if they grind the side of the sole before they stitch or stitch before they grind, but it went off the side. It looks to me like they finished grinding it after they stitch, and the stitching went too far away from the edge of the welt and it went off the edge. And what you're seeing there, that line is the hole that the thread passed through. One incomplete hole, 2, 3, 4, and the threads here are actually broken. The threads here are broken on off the shoe. 5, the reason I say I'm coming to you with trepidation to show this, the internet is kind of interesting, and I'm trying to weigh my words carefully here, okay? I'm not going to go into a long tirade here, but one of the things that's been very difficult for me to get used to, because I do genuinely feel like I try to put out good content, and I try to be honest, and of course we're all such different personalities, we can never agree, so that flack that I get is, you know, it does hurt, you know, sometimes. I try not to let it bother me. And here's another thing, you know, most of my videos within a week or so of releasing will get about 3,000, 1,500, 3,000, some a lot more. I've had one with 120,000 views, but most of them in that range, couple, 3,000, 4,000 views. And if you take like 1%, you know, of people are, you know, really nasty, let's just say, you know, 1% of 1,000 is, you know, that's a pretty decent number, if that makes sense, you know, 10 people or whatever that is, that was my math right. So what happens is these people are going to jump on and say, oh, they're crap, they're junk. In manufacturing a large sample size, when I worked in manufacturing, you had to have a sample size of 30 to say, hey, this is a problem, or, you know, in other words, I'm talking about a sample size of two brand new Allen Edmonds shoes that I've purchased from Allen Edmonds in recent history. And I've had what I would consider a major problem with one. So, you know, until I really get a lot more, I can't say that Allen Edmonds has a problem, because I know a lot of people are going to say that. And I know I've seen the trend, or I guess general gist of what other people say is they've had some more issues now than in the past. I mean, that's not a factual statement. That's the problem with that I have is that are all the people that have absolutely no problems with Allen Edmonds jumping onto the forums? I don't know, so, if they're having a problem with 1% of their shoes, but 50% of those people are jumping online, it's going to make it look like they have a severe problem. So, please don't jump off the deep end too quick. And I'm going to document what happens through this process. Okay, thank you. Hello everybody, I am here in front of the Allen Edmonds store. What I found out last time I was here is they won't let, without a prior approval, videotaping inside the store. So this is the Allen Edmonds store here in Woodmere. Always had amazing service when I've been here. So, I've got the shoes. I'm gonna go inside and see what the resolution is gonna be, and then I'll repost after I come out when we're done, all right? Okay, so just left the store, spent quite a bit of time in there, just kind of chatting, BSing with the store manager. And it was no ambiguity, I guess I would say about it. I mean, what I mean by that is he was pretty clear on what the resolution is. And it seemed like there wasn't, he was very sure what the resolution would be, let me put it that way. So very happy right now. Obviously I'd be happier if I wasn't going to have to wait a couple weeks to get my shoes repaired. What they will do is send them back to the factory, have them repaired. They'll stitch a new sole on, new welt and new sole on both shoes, send them back free of charge. So I'll keep you guys in the loop as far as how it goes, and I'll be back. All right, everybody, it's been a little over 3 weeks. I dropped the Allen Edmonds shoes off at the Woodmere store, returned them on the 29th of July, and it is August 21st. So it's 3 weeks and 2 days, and they just came back, were shipped in. So we're gonna take a look and see how they look, okay? And one little nice detail, I guess, is I get a new Allen Edmonds box. The box is actually, I did take a peek earlier. It's pretty interesting. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, so here's the box. And it's got the nice embossed logo on it. And kind of interesting 1922 in bronze. That's actually just in black. And if these were new, I think it would have all the shoe model information. It's got a little hole here, so if you get your boxes on a shelf, you can grab it and pull it off of the shelf. This is kind of neat. This part here, it's magnetic, and the box kind of pops open. It's kind of cool. Get these out of here. So let's take a look. Brand new soles with the new Allen Edmonds logo. I call it the military font. They started this in like September of 2018. If you remember, my shoes have the new font on the insoles, but they had the old font, old logo on the outsoles. And see that right there? That is a little hammer. Can you tell? It's the shape of a hammer. Anytime Allen Edmonds shoes are recrafted from the factory, they'll put that hammer stamp, somewhere here on the arch near the heels. And the stitching all the way around looks good. Checking out the stitching here. Looks like they did a really nice job. And Brian at the Woodmere store here did say that they have their best people doing the recrafting work. He also said when you have an issue on a new shoe like this, it kind of takes precedence. So I guess this is a pretty busy time of the year here, summer, because they're gearing up for the new fall lineup of stuff. The finish on the edge of the sole, I would say the finish on the edges, the sides of the heel is definitely a level nicer and smoother than it was before. Okay, and of course they always put that notch on the inside corner of the heel so your pant cuff doesn't get, stuck on the cuff of the pants. You can see there where the welt starts and stops. It's got to start and stop somewhere. That's always on the inside
They always do that. A lot of times it's a little bit further back here, but it's always somewhere there on the inside, you know, under the arch. And remember before how the stitching ran real close to the, you know, to the edge? It's now right where it should be, tucked in. And it was, I think, over here on the outside is where it ran off completely. And again, here on this one too, I'd say that surface finish on the heel is very nice. See, that waviness is gone. And it's smoother as well, I would say. So they did an awesome job. And by the way, these shoes have probably been worn, I can't tell you exactly, I'm guessing about 80 hours or so. You know, I think I wore them 6-7 times. The lace is out of there. And if I can show you, this is really hard to show, but if you look down into the shoe, because it's got the cork midsole, it's not super evident in the video, but if you stick your hand in here, the imprinting is not heavy, but you can definitely feel. You know, you see those light and dark areas, but it's not just light and dark. Where the dark areas are, you'll feel indentations and impressions of my feet. So these things definitely do mold your feet. So looks like I'll have to put the spit shine back on them again, you know, so. There, so they have been recrafted. They've been repaired at no cost to me. So here are the shoes spit shined back up. Not a perfect spit shine, but it's getting late and I gotta get up early, so. I didn't polish the heels because I could. I could put wax on the sides of the heels, would probably make them look a little better. But to me, these are ready to wear. See, when I say it's not perfect, you see, you can still see some tiny pores there that aren't completely filled in. It does need a few more coats, but like I said, I'm good with that. I use the black. You see how I darkened it? That's just the way I like to do it. So there you go. Now I've got a few comments here as I wrap this up. So as I wrap this up here, you know, I figured, because I've been thinking about this over the last couple of weeks, I figured that the shoes, I figured they would do an excellent job on the recraft, and they did, and the repair. You know, Brian at the Woodmere Allen Edmonds store, the manager there, he's, as usual, he was great. He was spot on. He knew his stuff. He even told me it'd be approximately 3 weeks, and it was like 3 weeks and 2 days that they came back. You know, so his communication was excellent. You know, so the service side, you know, absolutely no complaints. Now, of course, when you're, you know, purchasing what would be a $395 or $425 shoe, of course, I did get these on sale, but they were not a factory second. I had a lot of comments on that, like, oh, you know, you're having you know, some problems because you didn't get first quality. These are new first quality. I don't believe Allen Edmonds would dump a lower quality shoe and put it on sale and not mark it as a factory second. I don't believe they would do that. But there has been more talk, you know, recently in the last few years about the quality concerns that more people seem to be having. Now, I believe the company has been sold and, you know, purchased 3 times here, most recently by Cobblers. I think Wikipedia said 2006, 2013, and then in 2016 or 17, and most recently by Cobblers. They've been purchased. So how do I feel about Allen Edmonds? Well, they do provide, you know, a niche, I guess, that to me, it's very difficult to find out there in the shoe market. You know, now my shoe size, you know, the shoes are tied here, but my shoe size, if you can see, is, and if you can see that there, it's an 11.5 triple E. You know, so D is a standard width, E is a step wider than that, then double E, triple E. You know, so my feet are like, you know, like triple E is the widest standard width shoe that's made, generally speaking. So what does Allen Edmonds provide that nobody else does? In other words, why do I keep coming back to them? Well, to me, you know, number one, where else can you go to get a Goodyear Welted, full grain leather shoe, okay, made of high quality construction materials? Realistically, you can get the shoes for, I would call Allen Edmonds, to me, a $250 to $350 shoe, okay? You know, meaning that my personal value system says I'm not going to pay the full price for them, you know? So, and again, I got these for, it was either $220 or $225.
before tax. So to me, it's a $250 to $300 shoe is what an Allen Edmonds is to me. But where else can you get Goodyear Welted, full grain leather, the high quality materials, high quality construction, the cork midsole, all those features where you can go to a store and get fitted, try on the different size, shape shoes, and then, get it for that price. I mean, you talk about some of the other brands that I could go to a store around here, like, for example, let's say Meslon or something like that. A lot of these brands you can get at Nordstrom, but they just, the Italian brands don't have wide widths or almost zero selection in the wide widths. Or like I've noticed when I went to Nordstrom's to shop and look at some of these higher end shoes, you're dealing with a Nordstrom's guy, no offense, who doesn't know that model line. So it's just a real pot shot on whether they actually know their, that model shoe, because they're selling many different lines of shoes. There's a lot of other brands like, I stopped by Cobbler Union. If you, saw my other video, here from a month and a half ago. Cobbler Union is making some amazing shoes, but they have one outlet and it's in Atlanta, and they don't make a wide shoe. They just, at this point, don't even offer a wide shoe. So I don't care how good the quality is, I can't wear it. So I believe number one thing Allen Edmonds does is for people that have extra wide or extra narrow feet, there's a real niche there. In the fact that you can go to a store and, try these shoes on and have a professional fitter fit you. The quality of construction materials. But like I said, the fit, the finish, they're having some, quality challenges some of the time. Here's how I feel about Allen Edmonds. I'm going to make an analogy, and it's probably a dumb analogy. When I used to be into cars, I had this one dude that did all my transmissions. You hop up an engine in a, like I had an 86 Cutlass with an Olds 455 in it. It had approximately 200 to 250 horsepower more than the factory engine, okay? So when you do that, you have to get a built transmission, like a 204R. And I had this one dude who did it, and he did great work, and he would do it on the side, outside of the shop, so he'd give you good prices. He was really honest, but there was one thing about him that when I brought my buddies, other car buddies to him to have him do their transmissions, I kind of had to warn him, like, hey, if you catch him at the end of the day, or especially if you're picking up your transmission outside of business hours, he might be a little bit inebriated, and so it was like a little bit embarrassing. And I don't take this comparison the wrong way, but Allen Edmonds is a little bit like that. Like, they're awesome, but if they could just solve this but, I think they've got something special that, like I said, is difficult to find out in the shoe market right now. So I hope that comes across the right way. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like I said, love Allen Edmonds, but, in other words, one of the guys at my office was asking about these shoes today, and I'm like, can I send him off to the Allen Edmonds store? So hopefully we see things, get better there from the quality standpoint and the fit and finish standpoint, and hopefully they get some better people trained in there, because this is a trade, a skilled trade of the craftsmen that create these shoes at every step. So anyway, I hope I brought you some value there. And I was trying to be very honest with this, because I definitely don't want to disparage Allen Edmonds. I have no interest in saying something sensational to drive up likes or viewers, because I think the channel needs to be built on, and I've always tried to build it on honesty. And, so on the other hand, I'm also not going to kiss up to anybody, in hopes of getting something, because, as of and I've said this before, this may change in the future, but as of the making of this video, none of my videos are monetized. So I hope that brought you some value. I'll put some closing shots of the shoes in here, and God bless you guys. Take care. Feel free to check out my other videos, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I try to put a couple of videos out a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's it. I'll see you guys later. Take care.